What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Beaver's Dam. Today we are comparing nostalgia with innovation. Roll the intro.
0, 1. Let's get started.
Now in today's video we are going to be taking a look at two different gameplays, two games that I honestly believe are kind of like the same game. Very similar gameplay, very similar type of world, similar atmosphere, just two completely different eras that the games came out. So during this commentary we're just going to be taking a look at both gameplays and not really comparing them, just kind of showing them, I guess. I don't know, just what nostalgia versus innovation looks like while we're going through this video. Now, this is a topic that I could go on and on and on about. I could talk about this for hours, but we're gonna try and make this short, simple, sweet. So we're just gonna be comparing the two, and I want you guys to kind of decide what you prefer, and I want you guys to let me know in the comments below. Are you more into the nostalgia trip, or are you into what some people call peak of gaming? Now, of course, before we get too far into the video, I got my coffee, gotta take a quick sip. And I got my hubby cup this time instead of the wifey cup, because I am not zesty.
Sometimes I am, and I apologize.
Anyways, let's get started with what I believe is the golden age of gaming. I believe the golden age of gaming is like the early 2000s all the way till probably like the early 2010s. So maybe like that 15-year stretch from 2000 to 2015, maybe not too far. Maybe more like 2012, 2013. Now, why do I think that this is the golden age of gaming? Because nostalgia is a beautiful thing. It's a powerful thing. It is a trip down memory lane where we had insanely terrible graphics and simpler gameplay. Although back then we didn't really think it was bad graphics. Like, we thought that this was as close to real as you can get until now, obviously. Like, we would talk about amongst our friends of how amazing the graphics are, how real it looks, and how we think that it just cannot get better from here. And I mean, obviously we were wrong, dead wrong, because now look where we are. I mean, we're literally playing as real actors. Like, now we are at a point where I actually do believe it can't get any better. Like, it's as real as it possibly can get. Another thing with these older games is, for me, and I'm sure for a lot of other people, is the emotional connection with the whole era. For me, retro games, or what I believe to be retro games, I've been getting a lot of comments telling me that, PlayStation 2 and original Xbox and Xbox 360 just simply are not retro. And I'm here to tell you, you're wrong. You're just wrong. Look up the definition of retro and retro gaming. Like, by definition, Xbox 360 is retro, and technically, I know you guys don't want to hear this, but Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are technically retro as well. We're not going to get into that, but anyways, retro games invoke a feeling of joy and wonder, and even a sense of belonging. Why is that, you may ask? Thank you for asking, by the way. I think it's because it just reminds us of the simpler times. It was a time where we had a lack of pressure in life. Like, we could do whatever we wanted, whenever we wanted. The biggest problems we had was if we studied enough for our math test, and if we didn't, guess what? It's high school. Who cares? You get to retake the test. And with these simpler times, it kind of gets complemented with the simpler gameplay. Like, there's not a whole lot going on. You have just enough going on in the game to be able to enjoy the story, the gameplay. yada yada yada. Playing these games just simply takes you back to a time where you can just be a kid again. Shout out John Bellion. Anyways, I think that it all just kind of boils down to how simple times were, how simple the gameplay was, and how little pressure and little stress we had in life while we were playing these games. And if we play them today, it just brings us back. That's why I love nostalgia so much, is it reminds me of the good times that I used to have. Reminds me of the good old days. It's like that Malcolm Moore song where the lyrics, I don't know word for word, but it's something like, I wish somebody would have told me that these were going to be the good old days and I would have lived a little more, you know? Like, that's what it brings me back to, is the good old days. And that's why I love nostalgia gaming so much, or retro gaming so much, is because of that. Now, with all that being said, I am just a huge fan of what games are today. Like, how good they look, how immersive they are, how much the stories have just evolved. Like, we've gotten to a point where games don't feel like games anymore. They feel more like an immersive story, which for me, as a very creative person, somebody who loves to write, somebody who loves to create worlds and create stories, I absolutely love this. So now we are going to get into the modern gaming aspect of this video, or the innovation. So obviously, gaming today has an advancement in technology. And as you can see with the gameplay that's going on, there has been an evolution in graphics. I mean, it is unreal where we have gone today, especially with PC gaming. I think if you have a powerful enough PC and you have the settings all the way up, like, you're not going to be able to tell the difference from real world and the game. And like I said before, the gameplay is just so much more immersive today than it used to be. We have explored so many different types of mechanics as well. Like, we have just branched out, if that makes sense. And I mean, gaming has just evolved to something totally different. There's just a wider range of experiences with diverse gameplay and different gameplay styles. I mean, you have games where there are tens of different styles of gameplay that you can do, different paths that you can take, and it can keep you inside of a game for months or even years. I think that retro games, or just older games in general, don't really have that feel. Like, it's not really something that you can stay in that world for that long. I mean, if you really enjoy the game, sure, you can play through it 2, 3, maybe 4 times, but after a while you're just gonna get tired because you don't have that diversity. And that kind of also goes down to the gamer's choice. Like, there's just so many choices now, so many paths you can take. I'm feeling like a broken record at this point, but that is just what makes modern gaming so innovative. And I think the last point, and probably some of people's most important point of why gaming today is so amazing, is the accessibility and the community. Before, it used to be, if you had a PlayStation 3, you're not going to hang out with the kids who have an Xbox 360, you know what I mean? Or if you have a PC, nobody's going to want to talk to you, nobody's going to want to hang out with you, except for the other PC players. We have brought such a great accessibility and community with cross-play, cross-platform, whatever you want to call it, and cross-saving as well. Like, for Cyberpunk, for example, like, you can take your save from your console and bring it to your PC, and live gaming or online gaming is also at a peak. Like, it's just not how it used to be, and in my opinion, it has gotten better. I guess there's some games that you can argue haven't gotten better. Call of Duty, for example. I think Call of Duty Online back then was so much better than it is now, but I think as a whole, I think it's just simply better. So when it all boils down, this whole video is to compare the two styles of gaming. And to be honest, I mean, you have the trip down memory lane, right? You have the nostalgia, you have the memories of the good old days. And then you have the immersive gameplay with the ever so growing community, the diversity in gaming and different choices. I think it just kind of shows how important the evolution and progression of not just gaming, but entertainment in general. You go from here to here, and it's like, yeah, you can remember the good times, you can preserve that history of gaming, but then when you really take a good look at it, you're like, I want to be here because this is innovation at its peak. Now, I don't want this to go away ever, like ever. Like, I always want this to be here so I can go back and I can remember how good things used to be and relive some of my childhood favorite games and just kind of go back and be in these worlds of nostalgia, retro, whatever you want to call it. I always want that to be here. But at the same time, I'm glad that this is here because this is peak entertainment. And that's why we're all here, right? We're here for entertainment. We're here for a little bit of an escape. For me, gaming is such a creative outlet. It gives me so many great ideas. Like, I'm not somebody who's going to sit in an online lobby and just play game after game after game because I'm a competitive gamer or anything like that. Like, that's not who I am. I'm somebody who gets into these story games, who is going to learn from these stories, who's going to get ideas, whose creative mind is just going to start spinning. That's why I play games. It's such a creative outlet for me, and where we are right now, I think, is better than where we came from. But like I said, I'm gonna kind of repeat myself. I don't want this to go away because I want this to be here for me when I want to kind of just go back and relive the good times. Which brings me to the conclusion of this video, which is the power of choice. We have the power of choice, which is why it's good to have both things here. You can choose, like I just said, you know, go back and forth, you know what I'm saying? Juke them out, you know, tell everybody, well, I'm going over here, juke them out, go over here, you know what I mean? Power of choice. And with that, I would encourage people who say all you're into is the modern gaming. I would encourage you to take a step back, go into the older stuff, get that little taste of nostalgia. I know that there's a lot of people who grew up in the Xbox 360 era and they've kind of just left that. They don't think about it anymore and they're just here now. And they're losing their interest in gaming or entertainment or whatever. I suggest that you go back. You kind of take a look at what it used to be. And I know there's a lot of people who just cannot leave the past, and they're stuck here. I would also encourage you to explore some stuff over here. You know what I mean? It's all about the power of choice. It's all about exploring. That's what gaming is about. It's about exploring your mind. I hope that makes sense. I've got like 3 cups of coffee in me right now, so I'm just kind of a little bit jittery. I'm just kind of going everywhere. Anyways, that's the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys took a little bit something from this video, and make sure if you did enjoy, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see next. I think I have a couple of top 8 videos. I haven't done a top 8 video in a while, so I think I've got like 3 videos on deck, and those will probably be my next 3 videos. But other than that, if you guys have any suggestions of what you want to see on this channel, let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.